We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about everything Bulls related in this segment. So strap it down and listen for all this hot Bulls talk as you're listening to the Sizzle and you're listening to Bulls talk on the hardwood.
Iron Skillet Sports presents.
Let's talk about what's going on with the Bulls, the players, the head coaching. They've got new management, they got a new team president, but you seem like you still have some of the same old issues, some of the same things that reoccurring. So let's talk first about the players, if that's okay with you. Let's start with the players. Let's start with what's going on. There are three players really of note to talk about. That is Laurie Markkanen, you have Zack Lavine, and Wendell Carter. So reports surfaced over the weekend that maybe Zack Lavine wants out. We know that he's had a tumultuous relationship with his head coach. Things haven't gone well. It was a terrible start to the season for the head coach. You're talking about a revolt that was starting in the locker room. You're talking about players who were playing out of position, then players who were told they couldn't take mid-range shots. They only had to take threes. People's averages went crazy. People got injured. But let's ask the first questions. The first question is there value for these Bulls players that we see so far? So let's start with Zack Lavine. Does Zack Lavine have value around the NBA as it currently stands, as he is, let's say he will be moved as a player for the Bulls? Does he have value to you if you're looking at him at another team?
Oh, without a doubt. Zack Lavine is one of the top athletic guards in the NBA. He's already showed with his 25.5 points per game that he can't put the ball in the basket. At some point in time, he's not afraid to take the last shot. So he's definitely a guy that you want. I mean, super athletic, super bounce to the basket. I mean, you know, he's one of the few guys that'll make you get out your seat when you're watching the Bulls. The problem is right now with Zack Lavine, because he hasn't really been used like he should have been used, what teams are going to be able to afford a Zack Lavine? Does he come in and start right away on a championship caliber team? I don't think so. So I think Zack Lavine might end up in a situation that he might be in a little bit of a worse situation, if that's possible, than the one he's already in with the Bulls.
You know, it's funny. We talk about Zack Lavine and we're talking about his money and his contract. Zack Lavine right now is making somewhere a little bit below league average for what he averages per game. But he only has 2 more years cut on this. And I know the Bulls are looking to move and make big free agent movement in the 2021, that 2022, and they have some cap space open. But can the Bulls make any hay with any free agents if you don't have a foundational player there like Zack Lavine to help you win something? Because I don't think any player wants to just come to the Bulls just to be on the Bulls because you can pay them. I think we saw that happen before when you had Tracy McGrady on the block and you had other players that they looked at trying to bring them in, and it never worked because they had nothing else there. So if you don't have a Zack Lavine, okay, he has value. What about Laurie Markkanen? Does he have value moving forward in the league?
I'm going to say not really. He has really been a disappointment for the Bulls, because they thought that Laurie Markkanen was going to be that guy. He was going to be that Luka Doncic type of guy, that guy who was going to be really tough to guard. And now you see that he's a guy you can just leave alone because he doesn't want the contact around the paint. And he's not a good enough shooter to make you honor him from the outside. We've seen him explode in a couple of games, but he hasn't been able to explode on a regular basis. Laurie Markkanen doesn't put fear in anybody right now. And that's the problem with the Bulls. The Bulls really needed Laurie Markkanen to be what they thought he was going to be, and he's not that. So the only guy you really got on the Bulls that puts fear in anybody at all is Zack Lavine.
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, we're going to talk about Wendell Carter, where his value is and what he has as value. But let me ask you this. If we're talking about Laurie, is he in the right position playing the 4 or the 5? What would be his optimal position as you see it right now?
Actually, to me, he should be a stretch 4. What it means to me is that he's actually another. You just have 2 threes playing at the same time. You know, he's a guy out there, but he's not aggressive enough to the basket at his height to overpower smaller players, and doesn't use his quickness to get around bigger players. Laurie Markkanen is a guy who I really think is going to have a long NBA career, who's going to make his money on potential, but he's never really going to explode unless he gets into an offense that is set up for his type of play. He's not a slash type of guy. He's never going to be that guy. He's not Dirk Nowitzki. And we thought he was going to be Dirk, and he's not. He doesn't have a consistent enough jumper to make you pay that midi game that he needs. He would be fantastic if that 15, 16, 17 feet around the basket, that he was super consistent. But he's not, and he's not consistent enough at long range. We see some flashes, though, out of him. We saw some flashes, and we go, okay, this guy's going to explode to be that guy, but he's just never been consistent. We don't know if he was just been injured this whole period of time. That's very possible. Or it's just a guy that's like, hey, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to play well enough to get paid, and we're going to extend his career out. So I think he's going to be a guy who's going to have a long time in the league, but he's never going to be anything special.
Yeah, to me, that is the most disconcerting thing, and that is the most alarming thing, I think, out of the 3 that we're talking about. Laurie is the one that really is the wild card for me. But let's talk about Wendell Carter. What do you see his value in the league? Does he have value for another team, or does he only add value to the Chicago Bulls?
Wendell Carter don't get the ball enough. You got to get him the basketball. He's not a guy who's going to generate off the bounce. He's not that guy. But if you get it to him around the basket, he can punish you. They just got to find ways to get the ball to Wendell Carter. And until you find a point guard, Satoransky's not that guy. If you find a point guard who could actually feed him or get him moving to the basket, he's shown that he could be a really good player on the move. But you just got to get him the basketball. That's the biggest problem right now. And the Bulls haven't found out a way to do it.
Yeah, it's a big question. But here's my bigger question. We just talked about Laurie being in the right position. Is Wendell in the right position? Is he truly a 5 in the league?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's a 4 all day long. Matter of fact, I think on a modern NBA right now, I don't think you really see that many 5s anymore. But he's a guy, you got to spread the floor with him. You got to let him attack off the bounce. Actually, he's a better attacker than what he's led to believe. But the whole problem is that you have to build an offense around him to get him the basket, give him the ball, moving to the basket. If you don't do that, that's going to be a consistent problem. And the Bulls just haven't figured out how to get him incorporated into the offense.
So let's ask, with a team that has a Laurie Markkanen and a Zack Lavine, which should be the pick and pop nightmare, they should be the pick and roll destroyers of the East. What is it that's not fitting? If you had to take this team, and let's just take these 3 players, Laurie, Zack, and Wendell Carter, how would you put them together to be effective where they all 3 can play at the same time? Or is it a situation where either 2 of the 3 won't be there, or maybe one of the 3 is the only one left?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth with that. 2 of the 3 will be there, and the one that would be gone a lot earlier than right now would have been Laurie Markkanen. They should have moved him when he flashed and he had opportunity to move him early. Right now, he's going to cost too much to move, and I don't know if teams are really going to pay to have a Laurie Markkanen on their club. He has underachieved tremendously, and I think that's the biggest albatross around the Bulls' neck is Laurie Markkanen. I think Zack Lavine is really a very good NBA player. Can you ride him? Should he be playing the 2 for you? Well, I don't know. Look at Coby White. Is Coby White an actual point guard? I think you got two guards playing, and one of them's trying to play point. I think that's what you got going on. We see flashes out of Coby White. Wendell Carter Jr., you got to give him the basketball. He's not going to be able to create for himself. You got to get him. You got to, pick and rolls. You got to put him in a position where he can come off the weak side and attack the basket. So I think a lot of it has to do with Jim Boylen's scheme and the scheme that the Bulls have been playing. That's why I think you saw a big movement in the upper management this past year to get the right scheme in place to take advantage of these guys' abilities.
Okay, so let's look at a scheme. Let's talk about what you would do with a scheme. So, okay, let's put it in perspective. The Bulls have no point. So let's do the 5-man count. We'll do it on our fingers. They have no point. So the 1 is open. The 2 is Coby White. The 3 is Zack Lavine. Now, is the 4 Wendell Carter and the 5 Laurie Markkanen? Or is the 4 Laurie Markkanen and then you bring in a 5 like Daniel Gafford off the bench to be your 5 and move either not Zach, but either Laurie or Wendell to the bench? How do you set this 5-man rotation up?
The problem is you got too many I don't know players on this team. You got Denzel Valentine. What do you do with him? You got Shaquille Harrison, who I liked before. What are you going to do with him? You know what I'm saying? Otto Porter, old man Otto Porter. What are you going to do with him? The whole issue is you just don't have enough guys. Thaddeus Young. You just don't have enough guys who are solid in their positions, NBA players that's going to put a fear in anybody's heart. And that's why I am with a Laurie Markkanen. You could play Laurie Markkanen at the 5 and drag a big out there if Laurie Markkanen could take advantage of that. And to me, that would be the thing about it if he was that guy, but he's not that guy. He's not that guy to play the 5 and drag somebody and drag that 5 out the hole. That would open it up for a Coby White. That would open it up for a Zack Lavine to attack in the pick and roll with Wendell Carter. That's what you need to be able to do, but they can't do it. And then the problem with Laurie Markkanen is that if you put him in a pick and roll situation, can he pick and pop from that position and drag the 4 out with him and make him pay if he doesn't come out? And he's not a great passer. He's just not a great passer. He's a guy, he can pass the basketball, but he doesn't put the fear in anybody's heart. So I think the whole situation is I think you got 3 NBA quality basketball players and a bunch of other guys who are just filling in.
We didn't even talk about, because I didn't even put Otto in the starting lineup. I didn't put Thaddeus Young in there because it seems like the Bulls have a lot of duplicity and not good duplicity. You just have a lot of the same guy playing multiple positions, but they're not playing any position well. The only one I like, and I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you, the one I like out of that whole mix is Denzel Valentine.
Good Lord.
I'm telling you, Denzel Valentine, you can put at the point, the 2, or the 3. And I think he would have an advantage at the point. He may not be able to take you off the dribble, but I think he's a better passer, and he's a lot better as an outside shooter. He's a deadly outside shooter as far as the Bulls go. He is one of their best outside shooters outside of Zack Lavine. You can really put him at the point and run a really fast-paced hybrid offense. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm tired because we've been recording so long, or is this something that can really work?
So you want a career stat, 7.8 points a game, playing guard for you, running heavy minutes.
Okay. So you got Satoransky playing the point. Are they not close to the same player?
Yeah, but Denzel Valentine, here's the thing about Denzel Valentine. He flashes for you every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Where you look and say, oh, okay. But for the most part, he gets on the floor, you don't call his name anymore. Why? Because he's only scoring 8 points a game. If Denzel Valentine was giving you high teens, close to 20 a game or something like that, then I could see you putting him on the floor. Because here's the other side with Denzel Valentine. What does he do for you on the defensive end? He's going to give up just as many points as he gets. That's the biggest problem with the Bulls. And the Bulls, at least under Tom Thibodeau back in the day, they were a really good defensive ball club. Now you look on both sides, they're poor on both sides of the ball right now because you have guys who are not willing to play defense like they need to. Denzel Valentine, I don't know. I just think you like the name Valentine and Denzel, but he's one of those guys, again, is he going to be a journeyman playing the bench? For whatever reasons, he must play really well in practice. And I don't know him as a person, but it just doesn't translate on the floor.
I think a lot of those players are still being held in higher regard because of their draft status and where they were picked. And that's how we get to this weird money situation with Wendell Carter, Laurie Markkanen, and now you've got this thing with Coby White where they're all making between 5 to 9 million because of where they were all drafted. That 7, literally that 7 spot for all of them were drafted in that slotting. So you've got to do something. But when we talk about value, I don't think Thaddeus Young has any value if you tried to trade him. I know Denzel doesn't have any value from what you just said. And then, oh, by the way, you've got Satoransky, Feliciano. You've got nothing. You've got pieces of pieces of pieces, and they're not good pieces of pieces. So how do you put together? And let's talk about Shaq Harrison. Great player, all effort. He would be a perfect Tom Thibodeau player. But he's not a point and he's not a 2. So what is he?
But he's cheap.
Yes, he's short of Ronnie Brewer.
Yeah, he's just cheap. And that's what you get a lot of the Bulls right now. You got a lot of cheap players out there. That's the reason why Denzel Valentine, who's just making, I think, $3 million a year. You see Archie Nakano playing $3 million a year and playing heavy minutes. So you look at it, Shaq Harrison, he's, in last year for the 19 and 20 season, he averaged under 5 points a game. He only got 11 minutes, but the whole problem is that you gotta score more if you're going to play in the NBA. And so I like the guy, but is it a problem? Are they not running the offense for him? You got to put guys in a position for them to score. And that's the one thing, and I will go back to that you see with the top teams, but they got great players too. But you see their third, fourth, fifth, and sixth player, when they come on, when that second level comes on from the Golden State Warriors, from the Clippers, you start seeing offenses run for those guys when the starters are sitting on the bench, and these guys put up quality minutes. And a lot of times in these spurts, they will push the lead out because they're running plays for these guys because they know they have guys who are capable of playing high level in the league in short minutes. That's what you see with the Bulls right now. These guys, when they get out there and play, they just don't produce.
Everyone has to do their job. Do your job.
All right, Jay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about doing your job and getting out there and really putting a job together and work together. So we've got Jim Boylen, there was a report by Jim Cowley of the Sun-Times that said, yeah, you might want a new head coach, but guess what? Because of financial constrictions, maybe the Bulls, and it's not a real season, so nobody really knows what's going to go on. So yeah, Jim Boylen might be your head coach again. Now, in one of our previous segments, we talked about coaches like Tyronn Lue. You had Adrian Griffin, who used to be with the Bulls, who would be a good fit. You've got Ime Udoka, who would be a really good fit from Philadelphia, and you got Mark Eversley, who has some ties to him in Philadelphia. But what do you think about Jim Boylen staying on as the head coach for the Chicago Bulls?
Typical move by the Reinsdorfs. Typical. Saving money. He's going to be one of the cheapest hires in the NBA. He's only going to make a little bit over $1.5 million a year and be happy about it. $1.5 million is good coins. And the players don't really like him. That's why you see Mark Eversley looking through the back door trying to figure out to bring other coaches in. But I think the upper staff is like, well, we're not going to spend $3 or $4 million for a head coach, and we're not going to be able to win this year because of the type of players that we have on the Bulls roster. That's what I think you see, right? The Bulls aren't ready to win, and I don't know when the Bulls are going to be ready to win. And I think because they're not ready to win, they're not ready to put butts in the seat, we have the COVID-19 going on, that they're going to keep rolling out coaches like Jim Boylen, and that's just what we're going to see. We're so close to being a bad Cleveland here in Chicago. It's unbelievable.
We've talked about that before, and you've made that statement before, but now the reality has become even clearer for those who are Bulls fans and those who are Sizzle fans. We understand that now not only is it a bad product, you've got mismanagement, you've got faulty ownership, you've got a lot going on, and it's all becoming a cavalcade of bull stuff. Yeah, that's what it will say. It's bull stuff. It's not even really good. It's just horrible because I won't say the other word, but you know what it is because that's what it smells like. It smells like a whole lot of bull manuki and bull doo-doo woo-woo. That's what it is. It's a lot of bull doo-doo woo-woo. That's what we're going to call it because it's just stinky. It's like a stinky pile of big bull dung. It's just there and nobody's doing anything and I feel bad. But all jokes aside, seriously, okay, so we're stuck with Jim Boylen. All right, Jay Sizzle, how does Jim Boylen go about saving this club from having the absolute worst season probably in NBA history? How does he do this? How does it work?
The only way he goes by saving his club is saving the club some money. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, if they were tanking, they should have tanked even better so they had a shot at LaMelo Ball. They played just well enough to play high enough that they're not going to be one of those top 3 or 4 or 5 picks, unless the ping pong ball. Are they in the ping pong ball race?
You know it. They're probably going to pick between 7th and 9th again.
So how many times did they pick 7th or 8th? That produced a Coby White. Not a bad player, but not a great player. The Bulls need the ping pong ball to fall, just like it did for Derrick Rose back in the day. And that team, when they put it together, they had a chance to do something great, and it just didn't happen. So right now, the Bulls are going to be a team that might sniff the playoffs every year, that 10th, 9th place, might get a chance 2 or 3 games out to get in. But that's all I think they're going to be. They're going to pick 7th again. I don't really think, hopefully with this leadership that they have there now, that they actually have an idea how to put together an NBA roster. Because we know for a fact, Garpax for 16 years didn't put together an NBA roster that needed to go and win a championship.
True. They did not I don't know what they put together, but is it that they just saw it wrong? Were the optics that bad, or are they just that inept as not only general managers and team president? Were they just terrible people who didn't know basketball?
No, I just think there were guys that Reinsdorf was loyal to, and the Bulls were making money. And Reinsdorf is a businessman. That's why I'm surprised. I know this off the subject, but I'm surprised with the White Sox that they actually start spending the money over there and they start bringing in top-notch players, the guys who can hit the baseball. But you're looking at the Chicago Bulls, they were making money. The United Center was still getting sold out. They still were living off Michael Jordan's 6 championships. But right now, Michael Jordan is standing there with a brown paper bag over his head, the statue, and he's trying to walk away and get an Uber because right now the shine is off the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, the shine and luster is all gone. And the saddest part is that it's not working much better for Michael Jordan with the Hornets, but you're looking at a Bulls franchise now where we just outlined their 3 best players, right? But we don't know what their 3 best players are best at doing because they're really not great at doing anything. You got Zach, who's like the super take the every shot dude. You got Coby, he's Coby. And then you got a Wendell Carter that you really don't know if he's really a 4 or a 5. You got Laurie, who plays at some points, doesn't play. So I don't even see. And then, okay, for just to throw it in, you throw in an Otto Porter, who is a good NBA player, but he is a rarely uninjured NBA player. Yeah. So when you talk about availability, and that's the thing with Laurie Markkanen, with Wendell Carter, with some of the other players they had. Now, Zack Lavine was different. He had a horrific injury and was durable coming back. Yeah. But Zach and Laurie have been terrible at their availability. So how do you go about, okay, let's do it real quick. Let's do a quick fix. How do you fix this team? I'm making you Mark Eversley. You're Mark Eversley. And I'm Arturas Karnisovas. And I'm waiting. I need a plan from you. So I want you to tell me what your plan is. We're sitting in the office right now. It's just you and I. Nobody's listening. How do we make this work?
First thing, we go find a genie. We go out there. out here near Lake Michigan, and we find a genie in the bottle, and we rub on it, and we see if we can get magical Chris Dunn to come out and be the Chris Dunn we thought he was going to be. That's another player that we don't talk about at all, who should have been a cornerstone on this basketball team, and he wasn't. And that's the reason why we got a Thomas Satoransky here, because Chris Dunn just wasn't what he was supposed to be. Another failure. You look at a Coby White, he's playing out of position. You got to keep Coby White, but where are you going to play him at? He's not a starter for you, even though every once in a while he flashes, but he plays the two-guard position, so they really don't have a point. You can't run Chris Dunn out there at point because you don't know what's going to happen if he was still there. You got Zach Lavine. Zach Lavine's going to be Zach Lavine, but he's got to play the two. So you got potentially 3 two guards out there. You still don't have a point. Then
So
you got
is Zach really, is he a 2 or is he a 3?
Zach Lavine's a two guard. That's
Okay.
what he should be playing. He's a big kid. He can overpower smaller twos. He can handle the basketball. I think you play him at the 2. He's going to take enough shots. He's going to slash. He's going to attack. That's a guy you want from there. I think he can really score from the 2 position. And I think he's a good enough defender to work from there. I think he's misplayed playing the 3 right now. I like him playing a big two-guard position. Now, for the rest of the situation, I don't know. I mean, you know, anywhere else, do you see anybody there on this roster that you would say right now is a all-out NBA all-star? Not a superstar, but an NBA all-star at any position on here. It should have been Laurie Markkanen, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to continue to happen. So at this point in time, I think you got most of this roster, at least 3/4 of it, that shouldn't be on this ball club.
Okay, you're not helping me right now. Now I've got to drink some Pepto-Bismol and something because we're trying to make this work. In like 5 minutes, we've got to fix this team. So, okay. All right. Can we play Coby and Zach together?
Who's running the point?
Didn't ask you that. I asked you, can we play Coby and Zach together?
If you're gonna put Zach Lavine at the point, I wouldn't put Coby at the point.
Well, you're going to have to put Coby at the point. He's the shorter of the 2.
Okay, so now, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, we can run him out there. Sure.
Okay. Can we play Zach? Not Zach, but can we play Laurie and Wendell together?
You can play Laurie and everybody together. It ain't gonna make a difference. You know, you might as well pull Luke Cornett out there. I mean, at this point in time,
You're not helping here.
you just have an underachieving Laurie Markkanen. To me, the biggest problem with the Bulls right now is Laurie Markkanen. That's the biggest problem with the Bulls.
Okay.
Just an underachiever. But say, why put Laurie Markkanen out there? First thing, he's not durable enough. Secondly, he's not going to explode. Every once in a while, he explodes for you. Now, he did play hurt last year a couple of times, and he played pretty well. But beyond that, he's not a guy anybody's going to fear. But going back to your original thing, can you play Laurie Markkanen out there? But now you're going to have a wide a 5-out type of offense. You know, you need to drag the bigs out. And the only one down here who's going to bang for you down on the boards is Wendell Carter. So you got to play him too. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. So let me ask you this. Can we afford to bench Laurie Markkanen?
I think we should have moved Laurie Markkanen when we had the opportunity. But if he's not, no, you can't really afford to him because it's his paycheck's too. Look, Laurie Markkanen right now. What does Laurie Markkanen make? I think $500,000. He's making $500,000. Oh Lord, I'm tired now. We've been doing this all day. He's making a little bit over
to make the $9 million.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So he's supposed to be there. I'm looking at it. He's supposed to be making a good amount of money this year. It's $8 or $9 million coming up. I think it's 5.3, but I think it might be more than that. My stats might be wrong right here. I think it's more than that. But you're looking at the situation with him is that he's just not. You play a Laurie Markkanen hoping that he's going to explode for you so you can move him, so that you can get a piece. You know what I'm saying? Because he's already shown that he's not at the NBA. Like if you look at him, is he NBA ready yet? And he put on a couple of pounds and stuff like that, but is he NBA ready? Is he going to terrify anybody? And I want to say no, he doesn't terrify anybody. So you have to play, but you have to play him though. I mean, you never know. You might catch lightning in a bottle. So looking at the whole situation, you're going to have to play, got to get Wendell Carter on the floor. What you going to do with Cristiano Felicio?
I don't even know why he's still in the building. Okay, so walk with me on this. This is just the two of us talking.
Okay.
We're going to do this.
Okay.
We're going to trade Laurie.
Yeah.
Wendell.
Yeah.
Otto. And either or Zack or Coby White.
To who and for what would be the question. All these salaries have to match up. So
okay,
when you're doing that type of stuff, so,
we got to trade something with Otto because Otto is making like $80 million. I think Otto is probably one of the highest paid Chicago players in the city.
Yeah.
So we got to get rid of him, but you're going to have to put a sweetener with him.
Yeah.
So because we're going to bottom out, and when I say this time we're going to bottom out, I mean we're going to bottom out. Right. I might be tempted to trade all of them. How about that?
You just look. You can't do this. Now you only do that on your fantasy ball club. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that in real life.
Okay. So, all right. I'm keeping Zack.
Yeah.
All right. I'm good with it.
You just keeping Zack. Zack's playing all the positions for you.
Well, we've got Luke Cornett. You've got
Oh Lord, you didn't holler Luke Cornett in the starting lineup.
No. He's not. He's going to be coming off the bench, but. Okay, we've got enough somebodies in the building to bottom. No, this time, like we really bottom out, like for real. Like,
that's the whole
5 wins.
That's the whole key to it. Look at the Golden State Warriors. Look, they said we are going to be trash, and they were trash. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Curry could come back. No, he ain't. He came in and played a couple of ball games, and the shortened season happened. So what I'm telling you right now, and they're going to get one of the top 3 picks. Yes, they are. They're going to get one of the top 3 picks. So you look at the Bulls. The Bulls played enough. And I'll give Boylen credit for this. The Bulls were playing hard and fighting to play. You know what I'm saying? You did see that with them. They just didn't win enough ball games. And I don't think they were capable of winning more ball games with the talent level that they have that didn't produce for them like they did. But right now, I don't see with this ball club the way it's designed right now, I don't see how they're going to compete in the East. I just don't see it. If they get into the playoffs, they're going to be bounced out first round. So
how do they compete in the West, the North, the South, the Southwest, the Northwest? How do they compete in the East Northwest game? I don't know how they compete anywhere. I can't. In the East, you talk like they can win. They can't. It's terrible.
This is a bad ball club, and I think it's a bad ball club. It's going to be a bad ball club for a while, unless somehow or other they get lightning in the bottle some kind of way. I just don't see how with this roster, other than Zack Lavine, Coby White, I like. I'm not a fan of Laurie Markkanen. I just think he should have been at least all-star level. And then the rest of the way, I mean, you still got guys. Journeymen who are going to be playing for this ball club. You still got Denzel Valentine still going to be there. Chandler Hutchinson, who looked good. He played a couple of times, played pretty well, but he's not a guy who's going to be able to score for you. He doesn't scare anybody. Otto Porter, he's old man River. He's just working to hope he can get another contract with somebody else, another big one. But he was there to stabilize this ball club, and that's what they made their mistake at, was bringing in people to stabilize this ball club. They should have just let this ball club go to caca-poo-poo, but they didn't want to do that because people stopped showing up at the United Center.
Well, they've stopped showing up, period. So, I mean, you can't get anybody into an arena where there's a pandemic out. So maybe this is the perfect season. Maybe you trade a Zack Lavine. Maybe you actually pull the bullet on that and just say, you know what, Coby, Laurie, Wendell, go out there and you win us games. Let's see how that works. Let's see. Let's see how it works.
You can always say that is that's what's going to happen. You sound like a certain person in the White House that said COVID's just going to be gone in a month. Don't worry about it.
Well, it really doesn't. The numbers are getting better. Okay, they're getting better, and we're going to be out of this soon. And you know what, Jay? What you don't realize is,
yes, sir.
The Bulls are going to be champions.
You know, if you take him in 2K and you're really good, you know, you could if you go that what do they call that the career league, you play you're a really good 2K player, you can probably beat the computer. What's that on all 2K? I don't play 2K. What's that called?
You don't want me to go much further. Go right ahead.
I'm not gonna do it with you. It's late.
Yeah.
It's just getting silly. I'm just saying right now, man. I just need somebody.
Everyone has to do their job. Do your job.
That's all I want.
The right job would have been leaving Tom Thibodeau as the coach of the Bulls. They should have rehired Tom Thibodeau. But I'm gonna tell you what, Tibbs would have took this job. He would have took it. He'd rather go be with the Knicks. That's how bad the Bulls are.
You like that? You like that?
Yeah, bro. So, all right. So, unfortunately, we've left the listeners with no clear change and no hope for the future. Welcome to 2020. It's terrible. That's, I don't like leaving the people like this because we haven't given them a solution or a resolution to what really the problem is. And that's what the Heartwood does. We solve problems. Yeah, well, we didn't solve this problem. So, yeah, I guess it is what it is, man. The Bulls suck. And those of us who watch the Bulls will understand it for the next generation. And maybe we'll be able to tell our grandchildren and regale the fact that we'll be watching probably another documentary on the Bulls in another 20 years. That should be great. Yay.
Denzel Valentine will still be playing for the Bulls.
All right. On that note, we're going to get out of here. But listen, if you're not following us on all social media platforms, make sure that you're following us at Iron Skillet Sports. And that is Sports Iron Skillet. Find us. You know what it is. It's hashtag Skillet_sports. So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and any other word that you get podcasts. So listen, Jay, we're going to leave the people with something hot. Leave the people with something fresh, something hot, something inspiring, something good.
You know, Laurie Markkanen is like thinking you're going to get a hot chocolate chip cookie. There ain't no chocolate chips in it.
Everyone has to do their job. Do your job.
And on that note, you're listening to The Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. We are the talk of the 219. We are the hottest talk in sports right now.